Because of the healthcare overhaul, you've no doubt been thinking about your own coverage or lack thereof. Have you considered dropping your insurance? Perhaps you couldn't afford it to begin with. Tonight, our Lorenzo Hall introduces us to this man whose decision about his health insurance had a life-changing impact. Here's his special report.
Imagine seeing clearly for most of your life and then this. Imagine not looking into your wife's eyes.
I've never seen my wife's face.
Or never seeing your children grow up.
I won't see my daughters go to prom. I never thought in a million years that I'd be blind.
38-year-old Marcus Grimes lost his eyesight 4 years ago.
I still remember my last sunrise.
And since then, he's been living in total darkness. The process was slow and painful, and at one time, preventable. Marcus was diagnosed with diabetes in his late 20s, sending his health insurance soaring by an additional $300 per month. At the time, Marcus was a single guy living in D.C. on a high school English teacher's salary. So he went to the extreme and dropped his coverage.
I just couldn't afford it.
Instead, Marcus decided to adopt a healthier lifestyle to combat diabetes. But that didn't mean a clean bill of health. Marcus soon noticed other changes.
I started noticing a blur spot in my left eye.
Doctors said his retina was detaching, but there was good news. They'd be able to help him.
And he said, well, your condition is reversible, but it has to be reversible by surgery.
However, that surgery would cost Marcus $3,000 just to schedule because he dropped his health insurance and thousands more afterwards.
If I didn't take care of my left eye, eventually my right eye was going to end up doing the same thing.
Marcus never got that money and didn't qualify for government assistance because he's not low income or disabled. He ended up losing sight in both eyes.
I remember rubbing my eyes and still seeing gray. And then I realized it was gone.
Marcus and his family moved from D.C. to Virginia for better health services. But with recent budget cuts, Marcus feels those services may be threatened. So he's bringing his plight here to Capitol Square because he wants lawmakers to see there is a problem.
I want them to realize that it's more than numbers.
However, in Virginia, it's about one big number, $30 billion. That's how much the state will have on hand to spend next year for everything, from roads, education, and even health care. But it's also close to the state's budget 4 years ago of $29 billion, meaning there isn't more money to spend. This comes at a time when there is a need for more state services because of a growing population and unemployment.
How do you pay for it? Because there aren't any free lunches.
Governor Bob McDonnell says the state already spends nearly a quarter of its general fund budget on Medicaid alone. So with a tighter budget, he's not sure how much more it can expand.
How much do we extend the social network of welfare and food stamps and health care that's already extremely generous?
Many of those without health insurance are turning to the state's free clinics. According to the Virginia Association of Free Clinics, more than half of its new patients this year are uninsured.
And the needs are huge, the demand is huge, and the supply is pretty limited.
Executive Director of the Fan Free Clinic, John Bauman, says they are seeing an increase each month in the number of people seeking help, but at times they are turned away.
Unfortunately, the number of folks who need care is much greater than all of us together can sustain.
Today, Marcus is getting help from the state and federal government through Medicare and Social Security. He's also getting help from his wife, someone he met after going blind. Marcus says eventually he hopes to return back to the classroom and start teaching again. But for now, he just prefers sleeping.
I would be in the middle of a dream and I'd be seeing, and I'd think that I actually have eyesight again, and I just realize eventually that I'm just dreaming.
In Richmond, Lorenzo Hall, CBS 6 News.
Again, Marcus had health insurance and chose to drop it, but 2 million people lost their employer-offered coverage in 2008. The Census Bureau blames the recession and unemployment. To see more of this information or watch Marcus's story again, visit WTVR.com/special report.